You know, when you think about math problems, we usually picture finding that one single perfect answer. But what if the answer isn't just one number? What if it's a whole range of possibilities? Well, that's exactly where inequalities come in. And today, we're going to crack the code on how to solve them. To get us started, let's think about a classic physics problem. Picture this, a human cannonball flying through the air. Their path traces this perfect arc, a parabola, which we can actually describe with a pretty specific mathematical formula. So here's the kind of question we're trying to answer. We're not asking for the exact moment the cannonball fits 20 feet. No, we want to know the entire window of time it spends above that height. This makes it a perfect job for an inequality. And because that path is a parabola, we're going to need what's called a quadratic inequality to solve it. So how are we going to solve this thing? Well, we're going to build our toolkit from the ground up. We'll start with the basics, then cover the one golden rule you absolutely cannot forget. After that, we'll unlock two really powerful methods for solving these. And then finally, we'll have everything we need to solve our cannonball mystery. First up, more than just equal. So before we can solve them, we need to be crystal clear on what an inequality actually is and what really separates it from a standard equation. Think of it this way. An equation like x equals 5 is like dropping a pin on a map. It marks one single specific spot. An inequality, though, that describes a whole country, maybe even a continent. It's a whole territory of numbers that all work as a solution. And these four symbols are how we define that territory. The greater than and less than symbols are kind of strict. They don't include the boundary number itself, which we show with an open circle on a number line. But the or equal to versions, they do include that boundary, so we use a solid filled-in circle for those. Okay, now here's where things get interesting. For the most part, you can treat inequalities just like regular equations. Add to both sides, subtract from both sides, it all works the same. But there is one golden rule, one critical exception that changes everything if you forget it. Let's take a super simple true statement. 5 is greater than 2. We all agree on that, right? But what happens if we multiply both sides by -1? We get -5 and -2. Now, think about a number line. -5 is way further to the left, so it's actually smaller than -2. The whole relationship just flipped. And that right there is the golden rule. Seriously, burn this into your memory. Anytime you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, you have to flip the sign. It is the single most common mistake people make. But now that you know it, you're already way ahead of the game. All right, with that rule locked in, we're ready to tackle a quadratic inequality. We'll start with what I call the algebraic method. It's a really reliable step-by-step process that will always get you to the right answer. The logic behind this is actually pretty clever. What we do is we start by finding the boundary points. These are the spots where the expression would equal 0. These points act like fences, and they chop the number line into separate zones. And here's the cool part. We only need to test one number from each zone. If that test number works, then the entire zone is part of our solution. Let's see how it works. Let's try one out. We've got x squared plus 7x plus 12 is greater than 0. So first, we just pretend it's an equation. We need to factor it. We're looking for two numbers that multiply to 12 and add up to 7. That's got to be 4 and 3. So it factors to x plus 4 times x plus 3 equals 0. That gives us our boundary points, our fences, x equals -4 and x equals -3. And as you can see, these 2 points split our number line into 3 distinct zones. Now we test a point from each zone. So from the far left zone, let's pick -5. Plugging that in gives us 25 minus 35 plus 12, which is 2. Is 2 greater than 0? Yep, so that whole zone is true. For the middle, let's try -3.5, which gives us a false result. And for the right side, let's pick 0. That's always an easy one to test, which gives us 12. Is 12 greater than 0? Yes, it is, another true. This tells us exactly which regions are part of our solution. So our final answer is just the combination of those true zones. This inequality holds true for any number less than -4 or any number greater than -3. Okay, that algebraic method is rock solid. It will never fail you. But if you're a visual thinker, there's an even faster way. It all comes down to sketching a quick little graph. Let's try this shortcut on a new problem. 2x squared plus 5x minus 12 less than or equal to 0. The first steps are exactly the same. We have to find those boundary points by solving it like an equation. If we used the quadratic formula or factored this, we'd find our boundaries are at x equals -4 and x equals 3/2. And here is the shortcut. And honestly, it's brilliant. Instead of testing all those points, we just sketch the parabola. We know it has to pass through our two boundary points. The only question we need to answer is, does it open up or does it open down? And the rules for this are incredibly simple. You just look at the x² term. If it's positive, the parabola opens up, like a smile. If it's negative, it opens down, like a frown. Then, greater than 0 just means you want the part of the graph that's above the axis, and less than 0 means you want the part that's below the axis. So in our last example, the 2x² was positive, so it opened up, and we wanted less than or equal to 0, which is the whole section between -4 and 3/2. It's a super fast, visual way to get the exact same answer almost instantly.
All right, let's switch gears a little and see how this same idea of finding boundaries and checking regions applies to a different kind of problem: absolute value inequalities.
The key here is to think of absolute value as distance from 0 on a number line. So when we say the absolute value of x is less than 3, what we're really saying is find all the numbers that are less than 3 steps away from 0. That traps you in a single zone between -3 and 3. But if we say the absolute value of x is greater than 3, we're saying find all numbers that are more than 3 steps away. That puts you in two separate zones, heading out to infinity in both directions. That's the huge difference between an AND statement and an OR statement. Okay, we've covered the basics, the golden rule, the algebraic method, the graphical shortcut, and the absolute value twist. We have all the tools we need. It's time to go back to that human cannonball. Here's our problem again. We want to know when the height, which is described by that whole formula, is greater than 20. And just like our method says, the very first step is to get everything on one side so the other side is just 0. Now we solve it. That equation, -16t² plus 30t minus 10 greater than 0, is a pain to factor, so we'd use the quadratic formula to find our boundary points. When you plug in the numbers, you find the zeros are at about t equals 0.44 seconds and t equals 1.44 seconds. So let's use our shortcut. The t² term is negative, right? So the parabola opens downward. And we want to know when the expression is greater than 0, so we're looking for the part of the graph that's above the axis. Well, that's the chunk of time between our two zeros. The cannonball is above 20 feet from 0.44 seconds all the way to 1.44 seconds. We figured it out. The cool thing is, once you start looking for them, you see inequalities everywhere. A speed limit sign doesn't say you have to drive at 65. It says your speed must be less than or equal to 65. Your monthly budget says your spending has to be less than or equal to your income. They are the mathematical rules that set the boundaries and define the valid ranges that really shape our world.